Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be putting some new bushes in the control arms of my Subaru Vortex. They're the same arms on all the EA82 powered cars, so all the L series and the XT series. It's going to be a good mod to perform, so let's get into it. Okie dokie, so here's two spare control arms I've got. Right here. Now here you can see how rotten the rubbers are, see how soft they are. Pieces missing out of this one, look. Alright, you can also see the flimsy sway bar links and just a bit of pressed tin. Right? Okay, so first we're going to start by stripping off the pieces we don't need, so handbrake cable brackets. So let's get rid of the handbrake bracket. If you're still running a front handbrake or e-brake on your car, you probably want to leave this on. Take the caster rod bolts out. Okay, that's them out. Alright, now that just leaves our sway bar links on here. So now comes the question of how we remove the original rubber bushes. Well, rubber hates heat. So what we're going to do is frighten it with some heat. Now I'm going to unbolt the sway bar links off and see what's left of the bushes. Okay, so now we've got the links off and the bushes are obviously softened. Okay, and I'm going to try and push them out somehow. I think what I'll do is use this tired end remover. I think I'll just put it on there and try and push the bush out with that and see how we go. Look at that. Came out in one piece. Perfect. Just leaving us with a perfect clean socket. That's awesome. Alright, now let's do the other side. Cool, there it is. Bush number 2, intact. How handy is that little tool? And there's the second bush retainer, tube, whatever you want to call it, socket. Alright, so that's the sway bar. Link bushes out of the control arm. Alright, so now it's time to push the lower control arm inner bushes out. What I'm going to do first is just cut the flange off one side. This one's already almost gone anyway. So I'm just going to slice the rest of it off like this. Okay, like that. You can see how much it's wrecked. See, it's all pushed to one side, it's not centered anymore. Alright. So that's one, let's do the other one. Again, see this one, it's all pushed to that side, sagged. Alright, now we're going to apply some heat. Now we're going to take it over and put it in a press. So what I've got is this socket on an extension. That's going to fit up over my press like that so it can't slip out. And I'm going to put the bush down into this tube and push it out through there. Right again. So here we go. Make sure it's all lined up. Start pressing. There it is. Look at that. Clean as. No cutting required. There's our old bush. Look how rotten it is. Cool. Alright, now for the other side. There we go, number 2. There's the second centre. So I think at this point in the adventure it's worth mentioning this fact. You'll notice that when we pressed the OE bushes out, there's no metal tube on them, right? And there's no metal shell left in the control arm. You know why that is? Because from the factory they welded the shell straight to the control arm. This isn't a separate tube. Now you can see that by these depressions around the bush. See that? And that's the result of the weld bead melting the factory bush away right from the word go. See these welds around here? Around the control arm? So when they've assembled these in the factory, they've effectively ruined the bushes from day 0. See that? So you've already lost about 40% of your bush. So it's no wonder they collapse. So that's interesting, hey? That's why when you buy new OE bushes, you can't push them into the arm because they have the shell. So they must expect you to cut the factory bush off and re-weld new ones on. I find that very interesting. Anyway, we've got our bushes out without damaging our tubes, so now it's just a matter of cleaning up our control arms and we can move to the next stage. Alright, so here's our control arms. Now that they're all cleaned, and give them a quick spray with satin black. See, the bush carriers are all clean. So we're ready to fit our bushes. So we're going to be fitting Superpro Poly Bushes. They're very good, they come with a lifetime warranty. They're Australian made as well. Made by Fulcrum Suspensions. So for the main control arm bush, we'll use this one. They're going to go in there, like that. So we're going to fit them first. Alright, so now we head to our press. So we need a tube for the bottom. We need our bush. We need our control arm. We also need a slight lubricant for the carrier. What I'm going to use is a bit of paint. The reason I'm using paint is because if we use grease, it's going to lubricate the outside of the bush. We don't want to do that. We put water in there, it's going to squeak. So I'm just using paint because it'll push through and it's just going to dry. So we just need to start the bush by hand first. Just push it in past the flange. Like that. Now we put it into our press. Put a push plate on and push the bush in. Notice we don't have the cross tube in the bush yet. That's so that the bush will compress and push through. Alright, so let's take it out and see how it looks. There it is now. It hasn't quite popped out this side yet. So what we do now is we just put a die in the middle and we just stretch it through and pop it out. So for that I'm going to use the same socket that I used to push the old bushes out with. And this should just stretch it through enough to pop out the other side. Let's have a look. And it did. There it is. And now we can clean off the paint, make it look all pretty. Like that. Check it out. Perfect fit. Now we'll do the next one. So, a little bit of paint. And we'll start it by hand. Once again. And then into the press and pressing through. There we go, just heard it go click. So that's it. I dare say. Yep, there it is. Nice. Now we just need to wipe the black paint off and it's in there. And there it is. Cool. Alright, so there's our control arms with our nice new bushes pressed in. Cool. So, all that's left now is to do our sway bar mount bushes. So they're two half bushes. They should be a lot easier to push in, so we don't have to push them through past the flange. These guys here. Okay, so each half just goes in like this. Oh, look at that. Who's your daddy? Cool. Like that. Okay, now all that's left to do is to put the cross tubes in. So we'll do that now. So we're going to do the main control arm bush tubes first. So that's these fellas here, right? Use the supplied grease. I'm going to squirt some in the hole for the bush. What I really like about the Superpro bushes is inside they have a cross hatch casting instead of just being smooth, so all the grease doesn't just squash out, it stays in there. Just like cross hatching on a bore or a piston. Okay, so I'm going to load these up with this grease. And then on the cross tubes.
and then insert them. Now I'm going to put my finger on this end, because that's going to help as I push the tube through. Leave the grease in the hole. Put about halfway through, I'm going to put a heap more grease in there. Run it around with my finger. Now look, the crush tube fits so firm in there, it's actually stretched the bush. So I'm going to put it back in the press and then press it together. After we've done this one, of course. You'll notice that the bush is stretched out at each side. So the flange is going to rub on the control arm. What I'm going to do is put a washer on there to clear the crush tube, and then press the bush back in. Difficult to line up on the arm, but I think it'll be close enough. Hopefully that's enough pressure. We'll see. Okay, so there's one. Now for the second. There we are, number 2. Cool. Alright, so that's the control arm. Bush is all done. Now for the sway bar bushes. So same thing, guys, just get your supplied crush tubes and your supplied grease. Now they just send standard packets for all the bush kits, so you're not going to need to use all of this. But I'll just show you something cool. Because these are half bushes, they don't fully meet in the middle. See that little gap in there? So that's going to leave a little reservoir of grease. Alright, so that's cool, which means they're going to self-lubricate. So in goes our grease. Cool. Next one. Right, so that's it, guys. That's our new lower control arm inner bush. New sway bar link bush. So they're all ready to fit. So what we do now is just wrap them up in a plastic bag so they can't get dirty, put them away, and then we're ready to fit them whenever we want. That'll keep them nice and clean until we're ready to fit them. Cool, job done. See you guys.